Following her divorce, Lisa opted for a restorative getaway. Her decision to return a day earlier than scheduled led to a jarring discovery. Her former husband, Andre, and his mother, Nina, were in the process of emptying her apartment of its appliances and furniture. Instead of engaging in a confrontation, Lisa resolved to orchestrate a memorable lesson for them. Before we proceed, could you share the country from which you are viewing this video? Enjoy the narrative. After a profoundly challenging separation, Lisa felt as though her world had crumbled. Her mind was a tempest of chaos, and her spirit a barren, scorched wasteland. Each day mirrored the last, a monotonous cycle of dullness and bitterness, tinged with disappointment. She had lost all faith in love, in people, and in herself. Andre, her ex-husband, proved to be a stark contrast to the man she had married. His infidelity inflicted a wound deeper than she could have ever conceived. Nina, his mother, had always treated Liza with contempt, making no effort to conceal her animosity. To divert her thoughts from the oppressive gloom and to begin healing her emotional scars, Lisa decided to spend a week with her aunt, who owned a modest cottage by the sea. She craved a change of scenery, solitude, and the opportunity to find the inner strength to move forward. Upon her return, her apartment, once a sanctuary, now felt alien and frigid. Every corner echoed with memories of Andre, their shared life, and their shattered aspirations. She longed to depart from this place and leave the past behind entirely. The journey to Aunt Nago's residence spanned several hours, and Lisa gazed out the train window at the passing landscapes, though they appeared as if seen through a hazy veil. Her thoughts were firmly anchored in the past, a past she desperately sought to escape. Upon arriving, a sense of peace immediately enveloped Lisa. The tranquil coastal town, the bracing sea air, and the rhythmic sound of the waves had a calming effect, setting a more positive tone. Her aunt welcomed her with open arms, showering her with care and affection. Lisa began to feel marginally better, as if a heavy burden had been lifted, like compressed air releasing its pressure. She immersed herself in reading and simply relished the quietude. She actively avoided dwelling on the past, consciously pushing away thoughts of Andre and Nina. She recognized the need for time to recover and attain inner peace. Throughout this period, her friend Katya maintained constant contact. Katya was her most steadfast and devoted confidant, privy to all of Lisa's affairs and always ready to offer unwavering support during trying times. Katya called Lisa daily, inquiring about her well-being and endeavoring to lift her spirits. "How are you feeling?" Katya asked with genuine concern during every conversation. "Are you feeling any better?" "Yes, Katyusha, thank you," Lisa would reply. "It's so peaceful and serene here. I truly am feeling an improvement." "I'm so pleased to hear that," Katya responded. "The most important thing is to avoid dwelling on the negative. Everything will work out, I'm absolutely certain." Lisa deeply valued the steadfast support of such a true friend. After a few days, Lisa noticed a subtle shift in her emotional state. Her nighttime tears subsided, and she began to find ways to momentarily distract herself from her sorrowful thoughts. She felt a growing desire to return home and embark on a fresh chapter in her life. She missed her apartment, her belongings, and her work. Lisa decided to surprise Katya by returning a day earlier than originally planned. She contacted her aunt and requested a ride to the train station. "Are you entirely sure you wish to depart?" her aunt inquired, her voice laced with concern. "Perhaps you might consider staying here a little longer." "Thank you, Aunt," Lisa replied. "I am feeling significantly better now, and I'm eager to return home and start anew." Her aunt embraced Lisa warmly, wishing her a safe journey back to the city. A persistent, unsettling feeling of anxiety began to plague Lisa. She couldn't pinpoint its source, but the sensation was deeply unpleasant, as if some impending trouble lay in wait. She attempted to dismiss these somber thoughts, but the anxiety only intensified. "Perhaps it's simply fatigue," Lisa mused, "or perhaps I'm being overly suspicious," but the feeling refused to dissipate. It felt like a venomous serpent coiled within her soul, steadily poisoning her. Lisa sensed that something significant, something negative, was about to occur. When the train arrived, she looked out the window at the monotonous landscape of towering gray buildings, bleak streets, and the somber expressions of the people. A wave of sadness washed over her. She realized she was returning to the very world she had so vehemently tried to escape. Upon reaching the station, Lisa hailed a taxi and instructed the driver to take her home. As she approached her building, her anxiety escalated. The usually bustling courtyard appeared eerily deserted. The only anomaly in the familiar scenery was an unfamiliar car parked directly at the entrance. Something felt fundamentally wrong. Lisa alighted from the taxi and made her way towards the entryway. Her hand trembled as she fumbled with her keys to unlock the door. Ascending the stairs, she moved as silently as possible, straining to hear every sound. Her heart pounded erratically against her ribs. Reaching her apartment door, Lisa paused, straining her ears. Muffled voices and faint rustling sounds emanated from within. She knew with chilling certainty who was inside and what they were doing. Lisa slowly, deliberately inserted her key into the lock and turned it. The door yielded silently. Lisa peered inside. The scene that unfolded before her eyes left her stunned. Andre, her ex-husband, stood in the company of his mother, Nina. They were pilfering her belongings. "Andre, turn around," Lisa thought, watching as he stuffed her food processor into a large checkered bag. Their actions were accompanied by hushed laughter and cynical remarks. "Well, son," Nina's venomous voice dripped with malice, "soon this fool will have absolutely nothing left. But we will live well. With this money, we can even afford to buy the dacha." Lisa fought to contain her seething rage. The betrayal, the theft, the mockery behind her back, all her previous grievances, the pain of the divorce, and the humiliation she had endured surged within her with renewed intensity. Lisa leaned against the wall, striving to regain her composure and strategize her next move. She understood that succumbing to her emotions at this juncture would only jeopardize everything. She retrieved her phone from her pocket, her hands trembling slightly, but she maintained a facade of calmness. She needed to document their actions, to gather irrefutable evidence of their crime. Activating the camera, she began to record everything unfolding within the apartment. Andre and Nina, engrossed in their thievery, remained oblivious to her presence. They continued to pack her belongings, discussing how to profitably sell them and divide the proceeds. However, Lisa had no intention of engaging in a direct confrontation. She required assistance. Quietly closing the door, she descended a few floors and dialed Katya's number. "Katya, hi, it's Lisa," she whispered into the phone, her voice tight with controlled excitement. "I urgently need your help." "Lisa, what happened?" Katya responded, her voice laced with worry. "Are you all right?" "No, I'm not all right," Lisa replied. "Andre and Nina are in my apartment, and they are stealing my things." Katya gasped. "How is that possible? I will call the police immediately." "Yes, please do," Lisa implored, "and ask them to send Oleg. He knows me. He will understand the situation." Okay, I will do everything I can," Katya assured her. "Hold on, Lisa," Katya said. Knowing that her friend had already contacted the authorities provided Lisa with a measure of reassurance. She returned to her apartment. Her immediate objective was to stall, to prevent Andre and Nina from escaping with their ill-gotten gains. She listened again for sounds from the kitchen. They were still present. This was good. Lisa opened the door and entered the apartment. This time, she did not conceal herself. She strode in as a homeowner, returning to her residence. "What are you doing here?" Lisa inquired calmly. Her voice was even and assured, as if she had rehearsed the line many times. Andre froze, utterly thunderstruck. Nina, upon seeing Lisa, gasped and clutched her chest. Their eyes betrayed their shock. They had clearly not anticipated her early return, and they had been caught in the act. "Lisa, what are you doing here?" Andre stammered, his voice betraying a tremor as he attempted to conceal his alarm. "I've come home." "And what are you doing here?" Lisa calmly reiterated. They glanced around nervously. Nina, ever resourceful and domineering, appeared equally flustered. She attempted to downplay the situation with a forced jest. Lizochka. We were simply trying to help you. We decided to rearrange things while you were away. A little surprise. Her voice sounded strained and unnatural. Lisa smirked. There's no need for pretense, Nina. I am aware of everything. She pulled out her phone and activated the video recording. Andre and Nina stared in horror at the screen, which captured their criminal activities. What is this? Andre whispered, his face paling. This is evidence, Andre. Proof that you are stealing my belongings, Lisa responded. The footage flickered across the screen. Andre packing the television, Nina rummaging through her closet. Their hushed conversations about the potential resale value of her possessions and their laughter at her expense were clearly audible. Lisa stopped the recording and looked directly at her former relatives. You're surprised, she stated, her voice devoid of any pity. And the police are already on their way. I suspect they will also find this video quite interesting. Andre's face turned ashen. Nina appeared utterly speechless. They both grasped the magnitude of their failed plan and the impending repercussions. Lisa regarded them with disdain, observing their weakness and their cowardice. They had presumed her to be frail and defenseless, believing they could rob her with impunity. They were profoundly mistaken. Did you truly believe I would allow you to treat me this way? Lisa asked, meeting their gazes directly. At that precise moment, the doorbell rang. Lisa knew immediately who it was. She opened the door, admitting Oleg, the local police officer, an acquaintance of hers. Upon seeing Andre and Nina and assessing the situation, he instantly understood. What are you doing here? Oleg inquired, though he already knew the answer. His voice carried a note of sympathy, yet his eyes held the unwavering resolve of a law enforcement officer. Oleg, Lisa responded. Hello. Andre and Nina approached him, and Lisa handed him her phone. Oleg carefully reviewed the video, his expression unreadable, though it was evident he was deeply displeased with what he witnessed. Nina, he addressed them formally. What do you have to say about this? Andre and Nina exchanged glances. They understood that further deception was futile. The evidence was irrefutable. Andre muttered, his voice trembling. Nina, typically so self-assured, now appeared pathetic and bewildered. Well, you know us, she began. We just got a bit carried away. Yes, we admit our guilt, but please, there's no need to involve the police. We will return everything. Oleg looked towards Lisa. Lisa, the decision rests with you. Would you like me to file a report and submit the case to court? Lisa contemplated the offer. She desired accountability for their betrayal, yet she also recognized that legal proceedings would consume a significant amount of her time and energy. She yearned to put this ordeal behind her and move forward with her life. I will give it some thought, Lisa replied. I need time to make a decision. Oleg nodded. Very well, I understand. If you decide to press charges, I will be obligated to act in accordance with the law. Upon hearing this, Andre and Nina rushed towards Lisa. Lisa, we implore you, do not ruin us, Andre pleaded, his face contorted with fear as he fell to his knees. We will rectify everything. We will return every last item. Just please, do not report us to the police. Nina, also begging, clutched Lisa's hands. Lizochka, forgive our foolishness. We were wrong. We promise it will never happen again. Please, grant us a chance. Lisa looked at them with a mixture of disgust and resolve. She saw their true natures, cowardly, pathetic, and hypocritical. She recalled every insult they had hurled at her, every humiliation she had endured. Yet paradoxically, she felt that retribution would not bring her any lasting satisfaction. Her sole desire was to be permanently rid of them. She stepped away and turned to Oleg. Oleg, may I speak with them alone, please? Oleg nodded. Of course. I will wait in the hallway. But if anything arises, you can call me. He exited the apartment, leaving Lisa alone with Andre and Nina. Lisa looked down at them. I agree not to press charges, she stated, but I have conditions. Andre and Nina looked up at her, their eyes filled with a desperate hope. What are they? They inquired in unison. Firstly, Lisa continued, You will immediately return everything to its precise place, down to the last detail. Secondly, you will completely erase my existence from your lives forever. You will never contact me again. No writing, no appearances in my life. Should you violate even one of these conditions, I will promptly file a police report, and then you will face the consequences. Do you understand?" Lisa's voice was firm. Andre and Nina nodded hastily. Yes, we understand," Andre assured her. "We will do exactly as you say." "Excellent," Lisa replied. "Then begin immediately." As if by unspoken command, Andre and Nina sprang into action. They retrieved the items they had already removed from the car and carried them back into the apartment. Lisa watched them with a cold sense of satisfaction. Once the last item was returned, everything was precisely as it had been before. However, Lisa knew that in reality, everything had irrevocably changed. She was no longer the naive, trusting woman that Andre and Nina had known. She had emerged stronger, wiser, and more self-assured. "Everything is back in place," Andre said, wiping his forehead. "Can we leave now?" "You may," Lisa responded, "and remember my warning." Andre and Nina, without uttering another word, slipped out the door. Lisa followed them, leaning back against the door as it closed. She felt a profound sense of exhaustion, yet simultaneously an overwhelming feeling of freedom. A knock sounded at the door. It was Oleg. "Well, Lisa, how did it go?" he asked as he entered the apartment. Lisa smiled. "Everything is fine, Oleg. Thank you for your support. They returned all the items and promised to stay out of my life." Oleg sighed with relief. "I'm glad to hear that, Lisa. But remember, you know where to find me if anything arises." "I do," Lisa replied. "Thank you, again." Oleg departed, leaving Lisa alone in her apartment. She walked through the rooms, examining her belongings. Everything was in its rightful place, but she felt an undeniable need for change. She needed to divest herself of anything that served as a reminder of the past, of Andre and Nina. She decided to start small, discarding photographs of Andre, gifts he had given her, anything that evoked unpleasant memories. Subsequently, she rearranged the furniture. Over time, she repainted the walls, purchased new curtains, and transformed her apartment into a bright, cozy haven where she felt comfortable and at peace. She enrolled in a gym, began attending art classes, and spent more time with friends. She yearned to infuse her life with new experiences and emotions, to effectively erase the past and forge ahead. Weeks later, Lisa felt a tangible shift in her life for the better. She became confident, independent, and happy. The future no longer held fear. Instead, she embraced it with optimism and hope. One evening, while sharing a meal with Katya at a cafe, Lisa confided her feelings. "You know, Katya," she said, "I believe that everything that happened was ultimately for the best. I have grown stronger, I have learned to defend myself, and I have realized that I can be happy on my own. I no longer need Andre. I am free." Katya smiled warmly. "I always knew you were a strong woman. You just needed time to discover it for yourself." Lisa looked out the window at the street. It was a beautiful evening. The setting sun painted the sky in vibrant hues. Lisa smiled, raising her glass. "To a new life," she declared. Katya reciprocated, raising her glass in response. "To a new life." Lisa took a sip of wine and gazed at her friend. She was deeply grateful to Katya for her unwavering friendship and support, knowing she would always be there to assist her through difficult times. Most importantly, however, she was grateful to herself for standing firm, for not succumbing, and for finding the fortitude to embark on a new life. She had learned an invaluable life lesson. Never allow anyone to inflict harm upon you. Always safeguard your rights and yourself, and never relinquish hope for a brighter future, for then all will undoubtedly be well.